I'm concerned about a cell sitting inside America today. We just caught 18 people just last month on the FBI terrorist watch list coming across our border. More than 160 have done it this year, a record breaking. When we're looking around the Middle East and the uprisings popping up around Europe and others, they could be sleeper cells right now in America, but this administration has done nothing to change what's happening on the southern border.
We have to step up together, building the broadest and deepest coalition.
Shalom. I would like to give our honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakudash. I would like to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all you sincere Akim, pushing this word out across the four corners of the world. Just another news update through the spirit, the power, and the vibration of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And this is the book of Psalm 64, verse 8. So they should make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them should flee away. And this is biblical prophecy fulfilling within these end times of how these different whistleblowers, who is a person that could be an employee of a company or a government agency, and where they are revealing to the public all of this inside activity that be occurring within these secret councils amongst the higher ups of Esau, Edom, and along with their joint heirs, referring to these other nations. So they should make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them should flee away. And at the end of the day, this is the movie of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. And what's associated with Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai? The truth. And for the majority part, at the end of Esau's movies, what happens at the end? The truth comes out. So therefore, it's no different within the ultimate movie that we call life, that Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai allowing truth to come out at the end, which is a declaration that we are definitely within the end of Esau's age. That's why it's stated within 2nd Ezra, the 7th chapter, and the 44th verse, how intemperance is at the end, infidelity is cut off, righteousness is grown, and truth is sprung up. Which brings me right to this article from naturalnews.com. And it says, U.S. General sounds alarm on Chinese border crossers. They are coming here to kill us. And this article was published on February the 19th, 2024. And it says, a retired Air Force general warned that America's enemies, namely China, are laying the groundwork for an attack against the homeland by exploiting the porous open southern border. General Blaine Holt told the Gatestone Institute this month that the Chinese Communist Party is deploying thousands of military-aged men into America through the southern border, where they have already begun weapons training in preparation for a conflict with the American people. Tens of thousands of military-aged men have come across our border and are now in America, organized by group and nationality, Holt told Gatestone. Among these are T and state actors, in particular, members of the People's Liberation Army of China. As we speak, these actors are training, making plans, and obtaining weapons, watching our patterns, and learning our vulnerabilities. So what are these different foreigners who are categorized as military-aged men training for? They are training for the civil uprisings, social unrest, civil disorders that's going to be taking place within America, aka Babylon the Great. And these so-called illegals or illegal immigrants are nothing but sleeper cells, hiding in these different cities across America and waiting for that particular order from the higher ups, of course. So therefore they can strike upon these American citizens, which is why this General Blaine Holt stated where they have already begun weapons training in preparation for a conflict with the American people. And a lot of these dumb sheeple within America are going to be taken off guard very soon. And that's because their main focus is into bread and circus, just pure entertainment and folly. And especially 2/3 of our people that cannot spiritually discern the times that we are in. And that takes me right to Jeremiah 49:31. Arise, get you up unto the wealthy nation. And that wealthy nation is referring to America, Babylon the Great. That dwelleth without care, said the Lord Yahweh, which have neither gates nor bars, which dwell alone. So that dwelleth without care. And a lot of these Americans do not have the spiritual capabilities, what they see that be occurring within these other so-called third world countries of civil unrest, social disorder, or civil revolts, and taking into the consideration that this can definitely take place within America. Or another point, you will see the signs of Esau doing a revelation of the method, which is nothing but a psychological warfare tactic, and it defines as when these elites of Esau Edom reveal or communicate their secret agendas or diabolical plans on what they have for the earth. And they do it covertly through entertainment, like movies, TV shows, video games, cartoons, commercials, or even books. And it's a Freemasonry ritual that they have to tell you the truth pretty much whether you hear or forbear. But of course, it's on the left-hand side. And as usual, that goes right over the heads of these dumb American sheeple. So again, arise, get you up unto the wealthy nation that dwelleth without care. So again, the majority of these Americans are not carefully attentive of the global current events that's transpiring and not having the thoughtful gesture like this can definitely take place within the shores of America. And that brings me right back to the point of this General Blaine Holtz stated, how these different foreign troops, aka sleeper cells, are training, making plans, and obtaining weapons. And they are definitely watching the foolish patterns of you Americans, because you put all your business out there on social media, especially you American women and you emotional men within America. You broadcast your whole life and your so-called lifestyle out there to the masses for the world to see. So just imagine these different foreign troops are watching these different so-called Instagram models twerking, acting like hoes, just being real shameless. And they are definitely going to get their rocks off very soon within this collapse of America, and more so a engineered collapse, because all of this is planned by the higher ups of Esau Edom to establish their so-called Great Reset. All right, so, and it says right here, we are vulnerable to attack, Holtz added. Our enemies eagerly wait. China expert Gordon Chang explained how this plan is part of China's unrestricted warfare doctrine first outlined in. Chinese agents, in addition to hobbling Americans with disease and gunning them down, could bomb power stations, attack military bases, start wildfires, poison reservoirs, or create terror in dozens of ways, Chang wrote, aka false flags, which defines as an act committed with the intent of disguising the actual source of responsibility and pinning blame on another party. And it says right here, these tactics come straight out of Unrestricted Warfare, a 1999 book written by two Chinese Air Force colonels and first published by the PLA Literature and Arts Publishing House in Beijing. The colonels argued that China can and should employ any tactic in attacking a military superior United States. Now, Americans can see how Beijing is operationalizing the suggestions in this how-to manual. Chang cited videos circulating on X of Chinese men who recently crossed the U.S. border quickly beginning firearms training, an activity that's prohibited in China. There is no Second Amendment in China, and Chinese citizens are not permitted to possess firearms. So is it possible that the shooters in the videos are merely taking advantage of a newfound freedom in their new home country? Unlikely. And it's not just these so-called Chinese military-aged men coming here. You have many different so-called illegal immigrants coming across these borders. And I came across another article where you have those so-called migrants fleeing from Mexico, and they're actually traveling to Montreal, Canada. And they are going through the northern border. So now you have both borders, the southern and the northern, being so-called invaded. Because back in October of last year, the Customs and Border Protection released a report, and it showed a total of 169 people on their so-called TERROR watch. And this General Holtz character, he tried to make it seem like these so-called Chinese military-aged men are just covertly coming into the shores of America without the acknowledgement of these so-called higher-ups of Esau Edom, on down to these different U.S. politicians. They're all in cahoots together for this NWO agenda. And to back that point up, I came across this article from Natural News, and it says right here, as you can see, U.S. granted the UN $1.3 billion in 2023 to aid illegals invading America. So this is nothing but a staged invasion. And it states right here, United States taxpayers are being milked of money that the United Nations or the UN and other agencies are spending to aid illegals in crossing the U.S. borders. Based on available government spending data, more than $1 billion in funding from the government has been granted to agencies assisting migrants. So not only you Americans taxpayers' money is going into the international aid of Ukraine and Israel, but it's also going into this illegal immigration operations brought to you by this American government. So what the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua is doing within these latter times, they are setting the stage for America to meet its divine end. And that takes me right to 2 Ezra 15 verse 15. For the sword and their destruction draw nigh, and one people should stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. And again, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua is setting the stage for civil unrest or civil warfare between these different classes or races of America. And more so, it's going to be a class warfare. We are already witnessing the division between the so-called red states and the so-called blue states, or the so-called liberals against the so-called conservatives. Verse 16, for there should be sedition among men, and invading one another. And that sedition goes into these civil uprisings or civil revolts. And that's where these sleeper cells, who are nothing but military agents, are waiting for once they be given that order to strike upon these American citizens. And it says, they should not regard their kings nor princes, in the course of their actions should stand in their power. And you do have a lot of these Americans are waking up to the fact that these 1948ers or these small hats are in control of everything, and how they're the main culprits of this engineered global collapse, especially the manufactured collapse of America. Hence the housing crisis, the inflation, crime rates, the devalue of the American dollar, and the list goes on. That's why you see different videos or comments or articles of these so-called truthers blaming the 1%. And that's referring to the higher ups of Esau Edom. So by that notion, they should not regard their kings nor princes, in the course of their actions should stand in their power. So of course they cannot get their hands on these international bankers, because according to biblical prophecies, they're going to be hiding out from the destruction that takes place within America. Like these underground bunkers, hiding out within the mountains or somewhere in space. So who will be next available in line? These senators, these governors, these mayors, these different local politicians and lawmakers. And for the ones of them who are all agreeable to this so-called NWO or this great reset, they're likened unto an extension of these international bankers. So that's definitely who these American citizens are going to aim for, because they felt played all along. Hence this so-called American dream, and how they have no piece of that pie. Verse 17, a man should desire to go into a city and should not be able, and that's when these martial law checkpoints will be established. And we're seeing the formation of this being established, hence these 15 mini cities. And that's going to be the guidelines once this Karabma be instituted, which is the MOTB. In order for you to maneuver within this city or state, you will have to have that Karabma. Verse 18, for because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled. And that's going into these various cities and states within America, because it's going to be great civil uprisings, social disorder, straight anarchy and chaos, roaming through the different streets of America. The houses shall be destroyed and men should be afraid. And that's what these military sleeper cells are waiting and training for. And they're not going to have any type of sympathy, empathy, or compassion toward you American citizens. And that takes me to the prophecy right here within 2 Ezra, the 16th chapter and 17th verse. For there should be in every place in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. And that's referring to the true prophets of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua, the ones who had that true testimony of Yahushua within these latter times. Verse 71, they shall be like mad men, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. And that's a strategic operation by the hands of Esau Edom, beginning with the elites of them, because they know that these different U.S. soldiers are going to showcase some type of sympathy or empathy or patriotism toward these American citizens. So who else would better fit this agenda? These so-called illegals or illegal immigrants. And they're going to put down a lot of Americans. And we are all going to witness Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua showing his anger on that left-hand side, tapping into that Alashaya vibration, which means a terrible demon-like power. And that spirit is going to be upon his vessel of wrath fitted for destruction, or that man of sin, Esau Edom, which is why it's stated within Revelation 12 and 12, how he should come down with great wrath, knowing that he had but a short time. And the word wrath within the book of Revelation 12 and 12, the Greek word is thumos, which goes into like passion, angry, like anger boiling up. Like how you used to see on those old cartoons, when that cartoon character get real angry or upset, it's like he be inflamed, be turning all red and things like that. And that's associated with how the anger of the Lord is going to be upon that vessel that's fitted for destruction, along with his counterparts, these foreign troops, who are nothing but sleeper cells waiting for that decree to be implemented. And this is going to be a time like no other, which is why our elder Apostle Tuhar, deemed this year 2024 within the spirit the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. And this is Jeremiah 30 and 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. So anytime within history, from all these different ancient kingdoms or empires going to war, on down to the transatlantic slave trade and all the casualties of the so-called American Indians, the casualties within World War I, World War II, all of that summed up cannot be compared unto the times that we are coming into, the times that we are fastly approaching, which is the time of Jacob's trouble. And it says right here, it is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. And that's referring to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel who have that testimony of Yahushua. So that pretty much concludes this lesson through the spirit. U.S. General sounds alarm on Chinese border crossers. They are coming here to kill us. So this staged invasion of America will be like no other. And it's all set from Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua to implement divine judgment, aka deaths. So with that, hopefully you all was edified, you all stay strong, keep pushing forward. Shalom.